Welcome to World Cinema Reviews. This is your host Frank the Vamp, and today we're going to talk about a controversial film, and the name of the film is Turistas. If you fala Portuguese or speak Spanish, that's tourist. If you're from the UK or France, the name of the film was Paradise Lost. So this film is actually darn interesting, and it's funny how it gets dumped on a lot, and we'll talk about why it's controversial. And but even though I'm gonna be right honest off the bat, it's not the greatest film. It's also not bad. It's actually quite entertaining and keeps you glued to your seat to see what happens next. And I think it works in some levels. So I think that it was unfortunate that it got dumped on, and maybe it's because of the controversy. So we're gonna talk about that. So this film was directed by John Stockwell and starring Josh Duhamel, Melissa George, and Olivia Wilde, among others. Um, Basically, the plot follows basically backpackers going, just tourists, going to from different countries. They're all in a bus, and they're traveling in Brazil. Okay, this bus is not in the best shape ever, not having the best brakes, but they're kind of like, they're kind of not taking airplanes. They want to travel Brazil like Brazilians do, right? They really want to do it. They want to do it like the natives, right? So plus it's probably cheaper, right? So they're just going on this adventure, awesome adventure. But it kind of backfires when there's an unfortunate bus accident. But luckily, none of them are hurt. But they're kind of stranded in this nowhere town in Brazil, right? So they're told that, hey, it might take hours or maybe days for the bus to come again. So what should we do? And they say that there's a beach nearby. The main guy and his sister, they kind of go down there, and they found this beach, and they found other places. There were a couple of guys from the UK, a couple of the guys, guy and a girl from Sweden, and they just say, hey, what? Why are we gonna leave? It's paradise here. The liquor is cheap. A place to sleep is like next to nothing, in thanks to the conversion rate. And they're like, I think one of the lines of the movie is like, we're not leaving here until either our money runs out or the beer does, or something like that. So they're just delighted. So they're just this basic film about teens just enjoying and loving the atmosphere. Brazil is beautiful, and I think I read this was shot near Sao Paulo. Never been to Brazil, but it looks beautiful. But the next part, that's when things go bad. I'm not gonna spoil much, because it's kind of in the trailers that something bad happens to them, and you see there's an operating table, and you see that at first they get robbed, and then they go find out why, and then something worse can happen to them. Some of them can get kidnapped, and if we see an operating table, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's actually sort of implied in the preview, because I watched it before this, so I don't want to spoil anything. Plus, on the first 5 minutes of the freaking movie, somebody says it pretty much, that they're afraid of this, that there's a lot of organ trafficking, so they may be fearful of getting, kidnapped and then trapped and then try to escape. Some people who actually want to get them, drug them, get them, and basically use them to harness their vital organs for sale, in illegal, medical, medical organ trafficking. Um, yeah, you know, let's address the controversy. The controversy basically says that the government of Brazil just apparently, allegedly, so from what I read, just didn't like this very much because they say that they were implying that because of the characters that get robbed and possibly kidnapped, and for what we just talked about, a lot of they say that they're painting the country in a negative light, and even one of the actors, I think the main actor, I read that went into went to a talk show and actually apologized to the government of Brazil, saying that their idea of the film was not to drive away tourists, actual tourists, and this is where I think that this film works in a way, and it kind of fails in a way. Let me tell you how it kind of works, and follow me on this thing, okay? Uh, if you have seen something about me, you could tell my accent is obviously not American, even though I lived in California for 25 years. I was born in Latin America, and I have traveled in Latin America. I have traveled to Mexico. I have traveled to Europe as well. I speak Spanish. I speak some French. So and I move and English, of course, and so I seen what the outside of the United States looks like. Pretty much. I can say that I can tell you, and this carries an important message. Okay, these kids that go to Brazil, they're doing a disrespecting thing, maybe to themselves and perhaps to actually the country, because they don't. They're thinking, okay, this is Disneyland, and I can do whatever I want, and I'm safe. No, that's not how the world works. Whenever, let me ask you a question, guys. If you guys are in your hometown, you guys know what places are good to go and what places are dangerous, right? Like, if I'm in California and I lived in San Jose, let's say San Jose, California, I know some places in San Jose that are not so nice, and I know places where I'm safer, right? And I know that if I go to downtown Oakland, California, about 10 at night, I'm in trouble in many parts of the area. Same thing if I go to East LA, in Los Angeles, or many dangerous towns. I can go to Detroit City and go to the 8 Mile district, or go to the Bronx, New York, or so you follow my drift. There are there are, your way where you are, right. But whenever you go to a new place, it doesn't matter if it's in the United States, but it's even worse if you go to a different country. You just don't know. People don't. I hate it when people pick up they pick up the newspaper and they go like, "Oh, cool! Look, there's a newspaper. Oh yeah, look, there's a vacation thing." Or they go online, they go Google. So Google says, "Oh yeah, awesome vacation destination," and they don't bother to read anything about it. There's something called travel advisory things that you could actually read, and you could actually find out what places are good, what kind of behaviors are good to do. If you're gonna get drunk and you're gonna get high, you're gonna go wild, right? It's there's a danger to that already. However, if you do it where you don't know much people, you don't even know how to speak the language, and you're in a neighborhood or a place where should poverty, it's way higher than the place you're in, where whether you're from the UK, you're from Paris, and you live in an upscale neighborhood, and then you all of a sudden go to a favela in Brazil, a shanty town, a shanty neighborhood where people are practically starving because there's no money, and then you have all this, valuable merchandise on you, and you're plastered. Perhaps you're not the smartest. I didn't mean to go in a rant, but there's levels of dumbness and stupidity, and lack of care. That's the thing. Whenever you're going to a place, so this is not. So to me, this is not. The disrespect doesn't happen on the film. This could have happened in Central America. Could have happened in the middle of Mexico. In, should this? It could happen in Africa. Could have happened in. It could happen in New York. It could happen in the UK. It could happen. It's just the fact that when you don't know where you are, you, as a respectful thing, you gotta learn some ways of the country you're going to, know where, what the hell you are doing, who you are hanging out with, who do you trust, where are you sleeping, what are you drinking, what are you taking, and you taking from freaking strangers, and oh yeah, it's an adventure you're gonna remember for the rest of your life, or you could just get killed and get your organs harvested for, for things. And you know what, that, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, but that kind of shit happens, man. People actually, do rob you. They can kill you. They can, actually grab you and drug you and put you on a slab, inside a basement or something, and then slice you open and take out your liver. You know, take out your heart for a transplant. Who knows? That shit can actually happen. So, yeah, I just thought about. I find myself being terrified because I felt like shit. This thing can really happen. This is not. I don't think I don't know how to say it, guys, but it's like the government of Brazil. What the heck? Yeah, I know. It's not. We know. I mean, I understand the Brazil's not like that. I bet you Brazil has wonderful beaches, and in fact, some of the cinematography in this film, it's really beautiful. I mean, some of the places, if anything, makes me go to Brazil. But it also makes me say, well, I'm gonna go to Brazil, but I'm gonna be on my toes. I'm gonna be alert not to do something freaking stupid like getting high, and or drunk, with strangers in a place I don't know, without a hotel, without a place where, or without knowing where the authorities are, in case somebody tries to rob me. It's just common freaking sense. So, so in a weird way, this film kind of works like a commercial. Tell you, so if you're gonna travel, dude, be on your freaking toes. Like I said, it's not a respect to any different country. Every country, even United States, even UK, even I don't care if you're a developed country, you're a third world country. It's just that when you're in a third world country, the danger may be even higher. I mean, it's not that it's. I mean, there's risk everywhere, right? But when the level of poverty is higher, there tend to be, some things that may happen here. But it can happen anywhere. It's just common sense awareness. So I really like the fact that this works almost like a commercial says, if you're gonna go on vacation, don't be so freaking stupid, you know. So that kind of worked for me. As far as the cinematography, it worked. The story, yeah, it kind of works. On the most part. Now I am disappointed on where the story went and the ending, because in reality, I'm not going to spoil it, but I think that if you're going to go and you're going to tell a story that it's kind of like, hey, um, this is a perfectly, a strong story that it's going to tell you as a tale of awareness, right? Um, don't, go all the way. And I felt they held back. They held back. I don't know if they want to insult more, or I don't know what it was, but there's some shortness. There's also, I think the acting looked believable by everybody. I like one of the Brazilian guys that is actually a friend to them that tries to help them out. But there's some inconsistencies. Um, I do like the main antagonist and how evil he is, and I kind of find his reasoning um, a little off. I don't think that people would think like that. That was kind of a over the top. So overall, I really do like Turistas. I think, or Paradise Lost, like I said, depending on what part of the world it is. I think it gets a bad flag because of the controversy, but I think it's a fine film. And if you really want to watch a movie that will keep you on your toes, that will tell you, it's not. If you're expecting Hostel, guys in Hostel, it's not like that. Hostel, similar kind of premise. Um, some dudes, go to this foreign country, but this is more like Eastern Europe or something like that, and then they get girls to, get them into this place where they what they do, basically, it's people who are just sadists who wants to torture them to death and stuff like that, which is not, it's not the same, it's not as gory. There are some gory parts, but it's just more of a cautionary tale, and I think it works. I'm gonna say this is a B plus, maybe a B. It's just, it's a good film. It could have been better. That's why it doesn't get a topper grade, but I think it's a good horror film to enjoy. Don't hold yourself back and enjoy the beauty of Brazil while somebody's chasing you with a machete. Anyways, I love Brazil. Obrigado, mis amigos. So thank you, my friends, in Portuguese, and enjoy Turistas. You're gonna be in for a pretty cool suspense movie with some gory parts, with some nice sights and a cautionary tale. So if you like this video, please comment. If you didn't like it, comment. If you like the movie, comment. If you didn't like the movie, comment. And please subscribe. I love you all. And if you're gonna travel abroad, please be careful, because I love you and I don't want to lose you. And worst of all, I don't want to see, your insights, so to speak, on the black market. It's just not good. It's not a good place to end up. Take it easy. Be blessed. Subscribe.